Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai 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 dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Hine ma tovu manayim sheberachim gam yachad. 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 Hine ma tovu manayim sheberachim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, Temple Beth-El.
We are so glad to have you perched atop our kitchen table once more this week. If you want to welcome each other in the live chat, please feel free. Let us know that you're watching. Say hi to everyone. As we enter into this Shabbat of Bahar Bechukotai, we conclude the last Torah portion of the book of Leviticus. Traditionally, when we complete a book of the Torah, we'll say together, Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek. Be strong and let us strengthen each other. You might think it's difficult to strengthen each other when we're physically distant, but I thought we could start this Shabbat service with some examples to the contrary. At Temple Beth-El, we're still working hard to bring our community together, even when together has a different meaning. There are so many amazing things happening right now, and I wanted to draw your attention to just a couple of them. Our tribes, formerly known as our small groups with purpose, are still meeting and drawing strength from each other, even more strength than before, finding support in these challenging times. Our Oneg bakers and sisterhood members and beyond, more than 50 bakers, have brought sweet offerings from their kitchens in a show of gratitude to healthcare workers at North Shore University Hospital and Elmhurst Hospital last week. And our bakers are at it again next week, baking for the St. Aloysius Interfaith Food Pantry. Our religious school committee has been doing outreach in the form of curbside drop-offs of Shabbat treats and supplies to help build virtual community through shared Shabbat experiences around dinner tables on Friday evenings. Our Beth-El families are coming together online for enriching learning opportunities, socializing, and singing. It's hard not to gather in person. It really is. But we want you to know how much it means to us that so many of our TBE families are opting in, seeking out community, even when it's virtual. So as we join together in our virtual community Shabbat tonight, I'll offer this poem from Maggie Smith, not the dame, the poet. When the clouds look steel heavy, we can marvel at their lightness, how they still float above us. When the wind wraps itself all muscle around the trees, we can learn from the limbs, how they bend but don't break. When the rain hisses at the window, if we change the way we listen, we might hear it as music. Even when a storm seems to have no end, we look for light on the horizon. We know the sun always shines again. With these words of inspiration and resilience, we'll enter into the hope of Shabbat and begin with lighting the candles. And if you're following along in our prayer book this evening, we'll be on page 2.
Stand. I get it. Do I need it?
What?
The stand? The glass base.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I forgot. Oops.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As we move through our service this evening, we will still let you know when we would normally be rising or sitting if we were in the Rudin Chapel together. Please do what feels possible and comfortable and meaningful for you wherever you find yourself this Shabbat. If you're following along in the prayer book, feel free to turn the pages as we announce them. And if you aren't following along, just enjoy, hopefully, and join in heart and in mind with whatever it is that we're doing. We will begin, as we so often do, with Kabbalat Shabbat on page 14 of our prayer books with Lechu Neranana. Page 12, actually, of our prayer books with Lechu Neranana.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Yai la la, 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 yai la la. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzor yishenu, epad mafanav b'todah, bizmirot nariya lo, bizmirot nariya lo. Yai Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song.
We'll continue with Romamu, which can be found in the last paragraph of the Hebrew on page 17.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'har kodsho.
This Shabbat, a year ago, we joined in a sideways Rudin Chapel with Nava Tehillah, a group of prayer leaders and musicians from Israel who had come to spend Shabbat with us. We know many of you watching joined us that evening, either in person or on our live stream. Hard to believe it was a year ago, but it was. It's been a big year. And so if you were there, imagine for a moment that you're facing what felt like the wrong wall of the chapel. And I want to hearken back actually to the words that you shared that night, which were about taking a leap of faith, basically, and letting yourself experience the music of Nava Tehillah, even if it felt foreign. We're now, I think, many weeks, 8 or 9 weeks into this foreign experience of joining together only remotely. And we're grateful that you've taken whatever leaps of faith you've taken to join us this evening. And we want to take it one step further and encourage you, even if you're alone wherever you are, if it's meaningful to sing, try and sing with us. We know that it might feel like a foreign experience, but if you feel moved by the music, no matter who you're with, no matter where you are, belt it out, sing it proud if it feels meaningful. And we'll spend these next two melodies with Nava Tehillah. So we'll be on page 19, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain.
Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo. Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo. Shalom. Shalom. Adonai Oz Le'amo ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו. שלום. שלום. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו.
We welcome Shabbat into our midst, the Sabbath bride with Lachado D. If you're in the prayer book, we're on pages 20 and 21. We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Again, this melody from Nava Tehillah.
Lachado D לקראת כלה תני שבת בקבלה. דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד ישמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ברכה היא מקור הברכה. בראש מכם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי התעוררי כי באורת קומי אורי. אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נקרא. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה תני שבת נקבלה. יאי לי 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 דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We'll continue with our Psalm for Shabbat, Psalm 92, which can be found on page 22 of our prayer books.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון ישגה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בשגבה, ושנים ועניים יהיו. להגיד ישר לאדוני, צורי ולא עוולת בו.
This is a moment where we love to greet each other before we greet the Shabbat angels. So if you haven't done so yet, now's a great time to drop a comment in the live chat and let us know that you're here joining with us. Wish someone a Shabbat Shalom. Maybe even share something you're grateful for the Shabbat. And as we do a virtual greeting, we'll also welcome the Shabbat angels. We'll sing together Shalom Aleichem, which can be found on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
We'll continue with Baruch Hu, which can be found on page 28. Please rise if you are able.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yalalai lai lai, yalalai lai lai, yalalai lai lai,
On page 30, we acknowledge with gratitude the difference between day and night and God who transitions day into night. If you're comfortable, join me in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, ובתבונה משנה עיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Continue with Ahavat Olam on page 32.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
If you're standing, you may be seated. We'll continue with Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם,
Adonai Elohechem,
אמת.
On page 41. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. On page 40, we'll offer this song of redemption, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה
We'll offer a prayer of peace, Hashkivenu, on page 42, picturing all of our prayers and songs and kindnesses joining together as a network of peace over us and over all the world. Page 42.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim Ufros aleinu Sukat shlomecha Ufros aleinu Sukat shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
Continue at the top of page 44 with Vishamru, this reminder that we keep Shabbat and Shabbat keeps us.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat bedorotam b'tolam V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם בריתולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
As we prepare for the Amidah, I invite you to think of something this week that you want to leave behind, you don't want to carry with you into Shabbat. Let it rest here. And think of something that you definitely do want to carry with you into the Shabbat. And we'll pick it up and take it with us. We'll join together on page 46 and rise if you're able or so moved for the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi agid tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר, מושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים וקדושים, בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש, האל הקדוש.
We'll continue privately with the Amidah, moving through page 62 of our prayer books or wherever our prayer journey takes us this evening. If you're standing, you may remain standing or be seated according to your custom.
Adonai Tzuri Vegohali, Adonai Tzuri Vegohali. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
We know in this moment in our community and in the world, there are so many folks who are in need of healing. And if you're thinking of someone this Shabbat who's in need of any kind of healing, please call them into your mind and into your heart. If it feels meaningful to put their name in the chat box so others can add them to their prayers, please feel free to do so. We'll turn to page 253 and for everything's fine. There's no fire, but the glass that holds our candle broke. It's not a sign. Everything is fine. We're broken 2 pieces. Sorry for the interruption, as long as there's no fire. So we are thinking of those loved ones whom we care so much about that are in need of healing. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you just care so much about. And if you want to share their name with us, you can share it in the chat box, or you can just hold that name in your heart and in your mind. We'll join together in Misha Berach on page 253.
Misha Berach Avotenu Lekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Somehow another week has passed, another cycle through Jewish time. We arrive to the Shabbat, whatever arriving means for us today. Maybe it would be more accurate to say Shabbat has arrived to us, wherever we are. As we tune in this evening, we reach Bahar Bechukotai, a double portion, meaning on the mountain, Mount Sinai, Bechukotai, my laws, the last chapters of the book of Leviticus. On Friday, March 13th, we led services to an empty chapel for the first time. That Shabbat we read from Ki Tisa. Since then, we have finished the book of Exodus and have started and now completed the book of Leviticus. The verses of more than one whole book of Torah, 27 chapters of the book of Leviticus, have gone unheard in the Rudin Chapel in most ways, while our Torah scrolls have mostly rested comfortably and safely in their ark, their own kind of sacred separation. Leviticus is such an interesting piece of our Hebrew Bible. Our own Reform movement has long struggled with some of its ideology of this priestly book, which focuses so much on sacrificial rites and sanctioned relationships. For too long, our discomfort with certain passages contained in the book of Leviticus have caused many of us to be dismissive of the whole book, finding it irrelevant or outdated. But there is so much to be learned from these 27 chapters, so much to cherish. At its core, the book of Leviticus is focused on ritual, service of God, seeking holiness, and relationships with each other and with God. What could be more relevant to Reform Jews, indeed to all Jews, than these essential components? We have adapted our rituals to be virtually accessible. We strive to serve God often through our service of others. We find holiness in the connections we make with others in our life, and we hold our relationships dear to us. But of course, the book of Leviticus is more than this. Its worldview can challenge us, and it reads to many of us as an outdated guide to animal sacrifice that just doesn't capture our own relationships with each other and with God. As we approach the end of this third book of the Torah, we read in Bechukotai of the blessings and curses presented to the Israelites. If the Israelites fulfill their obligations to God, they will be blessed with rains in their seasons and fruitful harvests. But if they break God's covenant, they will be cursed, struck with consumption and fever, languishing bodies, be overtaken by enemies, and their livestock and fields will be decimated. These passages of Torah where God enumerates the blessings and curses the Israelites can expect, depending on whether they choose to follow God's covenant, have been used by those who wish to dismiss faith and God. How can the world pictured here in our Torah portion exist? Can there really be a direct correlation between our deeds and the order of the universe? Cantor Sarah Sager teaches, according to the biblical scholar Nechama Leibowitz, our ancestors regarded blessings and curses, such as those in Bechukotai, as forms of prayer. These are the things that people hoped for, even willed to happen, in their longing for a world in which justice would visibly prevail. Perhaps this Torah portion is telling us in its own theological language that there is a moral order to the universe that is intrinsically connected to the natural order of the universe, and that the two orders are mutually dependent. In these teachings, Cantor Sager continues, it is as if God gives humankind every opportunity to discern that human action is intrinsic and essential to the proper functioning of the cosmos. The catalog, then, of threats and promises is a biblical way to explain how intimate the connection of the natural realm of the universe is to the moral realm. The two realms do not function independently of each other. There is a moral order to the universe as surely as there is a more easily observable natural order of rains in their season. We are told repeatedly throughout Torah that we are to act a certain way, to follow the commandments, because we know the life of the stranger, having ourselves been strangers as slaves under Pharaoh in Egypt. Those experiences are meant to cultivate an empathy within the Jewish people and to remind us that being created in the image of God isn't where the journey ends. We have to go out and be partners with God, seeking holiness in the world. In these challenging days of physical distancing in the face of a global pandemic, our relationships are evolving and changing. You might find yourself in closer contact with friends and family across the country and around the world than you were before. You might find yourself struggling with the intensity of being home alone or with your partner and family. The safe, stable relationships we so often take for granted might feel rocky or unpredictable right now. Depending on your work obligations and the life stage of your family, you might be feeling lonely in a full house or overwhelmed or simply bored and detached. While some are struggling, others are thriving, and most of us are somewhere in between. This Shabbat, I want to share a story with you, which I learned from Rabbi Elisa Kopel. Once upon a time, there was a family that lived on a farm with a large hill, maybe a har, a mountain, in the middle of the property. Their parents got older and moved away, and they gave the farm to their children, giving one half of it to Sam and the other to Jamie. Their parents told Sam and Jamie that they should find their own lives on either side of the hill, and each should care for half the farm. So they did. As they got a little bit older, they both had wonderful lives. Sam lived alone, focusing time on the farm, on learning, and on friends. Jamie got married and had children, focusing time on the farm and on their growing family. Both Sam and Jamie were happy. Now, one night, Sam couldn't sleep, and tossing and turning, couldn't stop thinking about Jamie. How hard it must be for Jamie with all those people to take care of. Jamie must really be suffering with all those mouths to feed, and the house must feel so crowded. I have so much, Sam thought. I should give some of what I have to Jamie. I live here alone. I don't need my full crop. I know our parents split everything in half, but Jamie should have more because there are more people over there. I'm going to give him a portion of my crop. It will be a wonderful surprise for his family to wake up to. And so as the night grew darker, Sam went outside, put a bushel of produce in his wheelbarrow, wheeled it quietly up the hill and down the hill, and placed it in Jamie's barn, and then went quickly home before anyone could see. Sam fell asleep pretty quickly after that, satisfied with having helped Jamie. Meanwhile, that same night, Jamie had gone to bed early, but woke up in the middle of the night. And then the thoughts started, as they tend to in the middle of the night. Jamie couldn't stop thinking about Sam and how all alone Sam couldn't possibly get all of the harvesting done that was needed. Jamie realized what needed to be done. Sam should have more of the harvest, so Jamie was going to share it. So Jamie snuck out of the house, loaded a bushel of produce into the wheelbarrow, rolled it up the hill and down the hill, and placed it in Sam's barn, and then went quickly home and crept back in so that no one would see or hear him. After that, Jamie fell back to sleep, satisfied with having helped Sam. The next morning, Sam and Jamie were surprised to see that all of the produce they had at the start of the night was still there. How could this have happened? Had they dreamt the whole thing? Had they thought that they did before bed? What had happened? Maybe they should still help out, maybe tonight. So during the day, neither Sam nor Jamie really thought about it, but then night came. Again, Sam couldn't fall asleep thinking of wanting to help Jamie, so he repeated the actions of the night before. Jamie again woke up in the middle of the night and did the same. Again, when they woke in the morning, it was as if they still had everything. And then one night, Sam went to bed a little bit later and started for Jamie's barn a little bit later than usual. And Jamie woke up in the middle of the night a little bit earlier and started for Sam's barn a little bit earlier. Sam went up one side of the hill with a wheelbarrow full of produce. Jamie went up on the other side of the hill with a wheelbarrow full of produce. And as they both reached the crest of the hill and saw each other, both realized what had been going on night after night. And they smiled and embraced. And that spot became a sacred spot, a place of holiness and love and connection, a place where God's presence could always be felt, because it was there that two siblings had reached out to help each other and showed true love for each other. And because both Sam and Jamie learned that even though someone else is in a different situation from their own, it isn't necessarily better and it isn't necessarily worse. But when we reach out and help, when we think about the challenges that others might be having and have compassion and empathy for them, we too can create sacred moments and holy places wherever we go. I love this story because it reminds us of so many important things. First, the importance of cherishing our relationships with loved ones, those in our families and those whose friendships bring meaning to our lives. Next, this story demonstrates the instinct to be generous, to care for others. And finally, I think this story reminds us that wherever we go, we can be standing on holy ground if we remember to treat those around us with care and respect. We are blessed with the opportunity to partner with God, to move through life with empathy and compassion. Our actions and choices have consequences. As we enter the Shabbat, how might we better care for those around us? This is how we strive for holiness. This is how we partner with God. I'll conclude my remarks this evening with these words once more from Cantor Sarah Sager, who writes, "It is the ultimate fulfillment of Torah, as expressed in this week's Torah portion in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 46. These are the laws, rules, and Torot that God established Beino uvein b'nei Yisrael in relationship with the children of Israel. This is the partnership that must one day bring about the fulfillment of our hopes, dreams, and strivings. The sparks released as heaven and earth, heart and mind and soul are united at last." Shabbat Shalom. We find ourselves in the sacred period between Passover and Shavuot, the counting of the Omer, and we'll turn to page 278 as we will count the Omer, as we do. Please feel free to join with us. We'll offer the blessing in Hebrew and in English, and then count the day in Hebrew and in English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom shiv'a u'shloshim yom shehem chamisha shvuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. Tonight is 37 days, which is 5 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Continue with Aleinu, which is on page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atid gidula liotzer b'reishit, shehu l'tei shamayim v'yoser haaretz, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Seated.
Please be seated. We continue our service with remembering members of our family, of our community who are no longer here. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. Today, on this Shabbat Bachar B'Chukotai, we are remembering Rabbi Sigma Sissi Faye Koran, Barbara Salamkin. And for Shloshim, the last 30 days, we are remembering Zisha Ben Chana, Barbara Bartner, Howard Extract, Dolores Goritsky, Helene Raymer, Mildred Spar. And this Shabbat marks the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the passing of Ahmad Aberi, Joan Baer, Ann Condon, Nejat Eshagaf, Natan Ben Shamuel, Sidney Fink, Mildred Grumfine, Mary Kaplan, Doris LeBeau, Randolph Mendelson, Craig Smith, Donald Smith, and Brian Wheeler. And if there are any other names that you want to add to Kaddish, I invite you to do so while we are here. You can do that, in your heart. You can do that in chat in any way you are comfortable. And Mourner's Kaddish will be on page 294. If it is your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha v'yichud. La'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim alinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all humanity, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated. Some announcements.
Many announcements. Lots of amazing things happening. Immediately after services, there's a virtual oneg, and the link is in the Shabbat handout that went out through the Temple Beth-El emails. Tomorrow morning, Torah study will be at 9:15 on Zoom, and then there's a lay-led service that will follow that, and Havdalah will be tomorrow at 8:45 on Facebook Live. All of this information is in your emails, so if you don't jot it down, don't worry. You can always grab it in your email, and all the links can be found there. We have the same ongoing programming coming up this week. We'll just run through it quickly. Again, all the info is in your email. Mondays and Thursdays, there's morning minyan with Torah reading. That's why Leviticus has been heard, but we miss the big communal moments. That'll be 7:15 Monday and Thursday. We've got Tot sing-alongs, which is family friendly, that happen on Tuesdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. on Facebook
When the
Live.
camera works.
It worked today.
It worked today.
We beat technology today, guys. It's a big day in our home. Monday and Wednesday are coffee with clergy or whatever beverage you choose at 11:30 on Zoom. Lunch and learn on Thursdays at 11:30. Wednesdays, 2 opportunities to learn language. There's beginning Hebrew with David Wolf at 7:30, and at 7 there's sign language with Sarah Gottlieb. Friday night services, there's a new initiative to have our religious school families in particular joining together at their Shabbat tables. So we're really grateful to the religious school committee and to David and to everybody else who's making that happen. And that's happening weekly now at 6 on Zoom. If you would like to have a copy of Mishkan Tefillah to borrow from the temple, let us know. And we've got some volunteers that are bringing them around. You can let, I think, Daphna know if you'd like one of those books, dweintraub@tbegreatneck.org. I feel like these announcements, it's almost like the high holidays. We have so many announcements. If you are remembering a loved one and you find meaning in reciting Kaddish for that loved one, every evening now at 9 p.m., we have a conference call where folks who are remembering loved ones who've passed recently are joining together and reciting Kaddish. It's brief and really meaningful. If you'd like more information, you can let us know and we'll send you the info. We do have some special short-term tribes, formerly our Small Groups with Purpose initiative. So if you are mourning someone who's died from the coronavirus, or if you're quarantining alone, or if coronavirus has affected your life, we've got different tribes. So be in touch with Jackie or check your email or check our website. Here are some upcoming things that are not weekly that are of interest. And we're sorry to anybody if we forget something important. Coming up on Tuesday, May 19th at 6 p.m., Rabbi Meir Feldman is joining dear friends Reverend Patrick Dugan and Sheikh Ibad Wali for a session called The Tests of God, Faith During Calamity, which promises to be very interesting. There's another chance to bake if you want to feed people who are in need. There's a chance to bake. And on Thursday, May 21st, there will be a social distancing drop-off at the parking lot in the afternoon, so watch your emails for details. There will be a Sisterhood Rosh Chodesh viewing and discussion of Hulu's Mrs. America. It says at 4 p.m., but it doesn't say the date, and I meant to check before, and I forgot to jot it down. So there will be an awesome sisterhood event. It's in every email, so take a look and see which day it is. We've got some master classes coming up, which are super fun. So I'll tell you which ones are coming up in the next week. On Wednesday, May 20th, you can join Ronit Pearl, who's demonstrating how to make Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding. If you haven't had Magnolia Bakery's famous banana pudding, I just feel so sad because it's so good. And so you should join Ronit and learn how to do it. It's not great for the lactose intolerant crowd, I would say. It's really tasty. On Thursday, May 21st at 7 p.m., our own executive director, Stuart Botwinick, is leading a session called The Jewish North Shore, which should be very interesting. And you can join Jill Maddenberg on Wednesday, May 27th at 7:30 for a session on college and admissions pandemic impact, which will be very timely and meaningful. You might think that because it's May, there aren't any Jewish holidays coming up, but you could be mistaken because Shavuot is nigh. As you heard, we're on day 37 of 50 of the Omer, which means we're making our way. So you can join us Thursday, May.
This is why the Count loves Judaism.
Yikes. Oh, Sandy, thank you. The date for the Sisterhood program on Mrs. America is May 21st. So again, that's May 21st, 4 p.m. There's a link to the Zoom in the email. So let us know, or you can get in touch with Sandy. Shavuot celebration will be Thursday, May 28th in the evening at 7 p.m. for some learning and some praying. And we'll be very excited to be leading alongside our clergy friends at Temple Isaiah. So it should be a very meaningful evening. That's Thursday, May 28th at 7 p.m. It's my sister's birthday. Exciting. And on Friday morning, May 29th, we will be commemorating the Yizkor service for Shavuot. So you can join us at 10 a.m. on Friday, May 29th, if you're remembering a loved one and you want to join in to that Shavuot service with Yizkor. So that'll be on YouTube Live, just like this one. So Thursday, May 28th, Friday, May 29th. There are lots of things coming up. There are other events coming up. I just feel like that was so many events because there's just so much going on at Temple Beth-El. So if you have questions, you can let us know. So grateful as always to our amazing staff who are working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this happen and all the other things that we do happen. We're so grateful to all of them. Even if we can't see them, we love them so much and we know that they're still making a huge impact. So we're thinking of them. We're thinking of all of you. Thank you so much for joining us this Shabbat. We can't wait to see you and we're singing with you and hope that you're singing with us. And we're going to close this evening, the Shabbat, with Oseh Shalom. We'll see you soon.
And thank you for your beautiful words of Torah. Oseh Shalom Mibroma, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. לילה 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 שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Take care.